Welcome to day 2 as we look at the upcoming NFL draft to be held this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I was fortunate enough last week to be in the pre-draft media conference with none other than Howie Roseman, head coach Nick Sirianni, and the big Eagles' new scout, Andy Weidl. It was a very, very interesting Zoom experience. Well, you know what? It was really different because there were 3 guys up on stage, and I'll tell you the positives and I'll tell you some of my concerns. The positives is that they made a very, very big deal of all 3 guys being on the same page for the draft. They were going to reach consensus before a decision was made. Now, prior to this, as you know, Andy Reid, he took full control of the draft even when Roseman was there. And then 2 years ago, Roseman didn't have any dealings in the draft when Chip Kelly was there. And then last year, it was Doug Peterson who had some opinions. And those opinions may have led to him being fired as the coach. That being said, the media day itself, when it first set up, you could tell these 3 guys were all on the same page. One of the things that gave me a little bit of concern, and I'll talk about the good and the bad, but Nick Sirianni was so positive that it was almost off the charts. He was a little bit of a cheerleader. I'll take that because it was offset by him being very genuine and very available for information that they haven't gotten from a head coach here with the Philadelphia Eagles in quite some time. So that was refreshing. I also could see a smile on Howie Roseman's face because you knew that he was in control of this whole situation now. He had a head coach that was agreeing with him and a head scout. Let's see how that turns out. They do seem to be on the same page, and I think that's a very big positive for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, people are asking me who I'd like to see in this, new draft that they're coming up with. We dropped from number 6 to number 12, and the guy I'd like to see, if he's still there, is Devontae Smith, the wide receiver out of Alabama. I am in love with this guy. The only negative he has is his weight. He's about 170 pounds, and people are afraid that he won't be able to go across the middle or take a hit. I totally disagree. I think he'll be harder to hit at that weight. He has tremendous talent, tremendous speed. He's 6'1". He runs between a 4.3 and a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash. They kind of left that open, but let's just say it was 4.35. That's fast enough. He's mature, he's a student of the game, and he's humble. And on top of that, I think he's one of those leaders that are very, not very verbal, but they lead by what they do on the field. This guy wants the ball in his hands in a big situation. He wants it when the pressure's on. And playing with Alabama, playing with LSU, all of those guys that play those games, they're playing in front of 100,000 people at times. They've already been through pressure situations. And to have a guy like Devontae Smith who wants the football in his hands and is a winner, I think is everything. I went on record yesterday saying a wide receiver like Smith or Waddle, who might be around then, those are the type of guys that can get you 6 to 10 TD scores that you wouldn't have normally had in their first year, and maybe more after that. I think it's the biggest impact the Eagles can have. However, I'll just end this up. Within that media piece, Howie Roseman let it be known that with 11 draft picks, he has a lot of aces in his deck. He's able to be doing some trading, and he'll be talking right up to the final second before the selections are made. I don't think we have a better guy, rolling the dice and making the calls from a standpoint of negotiations. I just wonder sometimes, because Howie has never been on the field, if he understands the heart that's involved with some guys that are special. Devontae Smith is one of those special guys. We'll see you again sometime before the draft. The Zach Ertz thing is a sad affair, I think. I think the Eagles are trying to treat him with all the dignity they can by letting him make his own deal. The problem is, There's not a lot of deals to be made out there in the NFL right now. Everybody's a little bit skeptical until after, I think, the draft goes to see what turns out. This is one of those drafts where somebody is going to really surprise somebody in the first 15 picks. Not maybe one, maybe 2 or 3 times. So we'll see what happens there. But Ertz deserves, I think, the money that he's asking for. However, this is the NFL. Tight ends and running backs do not have long shelf lives in the NFL. And you know what the NFL stands for? Not for long. And I think people are really balking at the price he's asking, just like the Eagles did. But I think he's still got some really good years left in him. And he's been very durable as a tight end. And I think he's also a natural leader. I'd like to see him, get on. But I'll tell you right now, I think that he's going to have to become a free agent. And they're going to have to release him before he gets picked up. There was a really good article in the paper and giving Howie Roseman some positive on this. He's had some really good draft picks in on the times that he's been making the draft picks, going back to Andy Reid's era where he was basically following, I guess, Andy's lead, but he had something to do with it from a standpoint of scouting and being able to, I guess, talk about these guys and pull the trigger. But he's also had some miscues. But who hasn't? One of the tough things about the draft, and Bill Parcells talked about this one time. He stopped the whole news conference because somebody was asking him when one of his rookie draftees was going to be able to possibly play towards the end of the year, and would he be beneficial in the playoffs? And Parcells stopped everybody. So let me tell you about the draft. You pick up maybe 7 to 10 guys in the draft, free agents. He said it's a little bit like time-release capsules that you have when you take vitamins. He says some guys are really good off the bat. Some guys surprise you, and a 5th rounder might play like a 2nd rounder. And then a 1st rounder and 2nd rounder, they might not have been sure or even make it in the NFL because you read it wrong. And he mentioned the things that happen to rookies that come into the National Football League. Some of them get homesick. Some of them figure out this isn't the level of play I want to play. Some of them are burnt out from playing football and they don't develop. Other guys who haven't had the opportunity to play at this level are so excited, it's their dream, they're going in the opposite direction. The energy level's high. They want to play. They'll do whatever necessary to get them in the ball game. So that's the difference in the draft. And I think, Howie has taken a look at the things from the standpoint of statistics and done the best he could. The only problem I have is that he's never been on the field. We call it never being in the arena. And you won't know what kind of heart a guy has or leadership skills until you've been in that locker room before you go out to play the game. And a guy stands up and you'd follow him anywhere because of his leadership. You can't get that at a combine. You can't get it through statistics.